Hey guys, thanks for joining me. So this is day 9. This is going to be sort of our power explosive plyometric day. So we're going to be finishing off the week with that. And yeah, I'm looking for a pretty good session to kind of finish the week on. So last week we increased the number of exercises that we were doing to try and get a little bit more work in and to try and explore a few different movements that we hadn't done before, add a bit more variety. So it was the explosive pull-up, where we will go in sort of stomach to bar. And obviously this is going to have carryover to just our general pull-ups. Like if we've got more power, more strength to be able to pull to our stomach when it comes to the other movements, it's going to make it easier. Working with a bigger range of motion, again, that's quite good. Then we had the kettlebell clean and press. And this is just developing sort of that power with the kettlebell and then some actual overhead work, which will be quite nice, especially because on our hypertrophy workout this time, we did the dip and the push-up, so it'd be quite nice to actually get some overhead work, so that'd be quite good. Then we had the kind of hip thrusting with the sandbag. Again, it was our first inclusion of using the sandbag, so quite happy with that. I'm half tempted to maybe take it from the floor. We'll see how it is. Yeah. And then we finish with the sort of burpee box jump. And again, I think this is a really nice movement that encompasses a lot. We've got our sort of horizontal sort of clap push-up sort of style, but it has the benefit of we're coming up and that's it. So we're getting that explosive nature there as opposed to doing clap push-ups where we pop up and then we come back down. It can be quite stressful on the wrist. So we kind of get that benefit of that plyometric in that clap push-up position. And then we have the nice sort of ability of jumping up onto the box, and we kind of have that where it feels like we're jumping forward so we can get a bit more posterior work. But again, box jumps are really good for that sort of lower body explosiveness. So we'll finish off with that. We did 3 sets of 5 last time, so obviously I was hoping for 5 sets of 5 last session, but I was quite surprised on how much it kind of took out of me, especially the kettlebell clean and press, because I haven't done kettlebell clean press for a really long time. So I think it kind of took a little bit more out of me than I thought. And I think getting into the session, I was like, wow, we'll go for 3 sets today. And obviously including of the sandbag again made it quite challenging. So, you know, we'll see if we can try and move the 4 sets. I'm half tempted to drop the weight on the kettlebell. So obviously that one was taking a little bit longer than it would, and I'm thinking maybe do we kind of reset every time and press it down so we can kind of get that explosive drive and obviously keep it moving fast. This isn't meant to be kind of like a grinding strength workout where I'm pushing up and I'm kind of getting to that 5th rep and I'm kind of burning out. We're meant to be fast and explosive. I think I probably went a little bit too heavy there, and I was finding that was taxing me too much. So I'm thinking of maybe dropping the weight on that, maybe even the 24 kilo. That one's definitely more comfortable to use, but the purpose of this is to kind of be explosive. And obviously I'm thinking of getting the benefit of the kettlebell swing and then press and keeping it as like one big fluid movement while obviously being explosive. This is what we're testing today, and hopefully that will have some carryover as well. And like I said, it'd be nice to have that variety, and we're hitting lots of muscle groups and we're getting different movements in, so I'm hoping that'll be quite good. I'm hoping as well, with obviously dropping the weight a little bit, that it won't be so taxing on the lower back as well, because obviously the sandbag is about 50 kilos, but obviously it kind of feels heavier than 50 kilos. So for any of you that have done sandbag training before, you pick 50 kilo up on a barbell, like it doesn't actually feel like too heavy. You grab 50 kilos on the sandbag and it feels a lot heavier. It's not as easy to be able to hold, to sort of manipulate, to keep close to you, because it's kind of like an odd lift. It's that kind of, barbells are designed to be lifted. They have that symmetrical weight. They're easy to grip and to hold onto. Sandbag is a little bit different. So, but then that's part of the charm of it. That's part of the benefit of it, is it isn't as an easy thing to lift. And it's more likely to represent lifting in the real world. Not everything is designed to be lifted, and this can be quite difficult to do. So, did a little bit of, as usual with most of my sessions, it's just a little bit of movement on sort of some rowing, some sort of vertical pulling, because again we're going to be doing the explosive pull-up. then a little bit of band pull apart, so work the real delts, just to get the scapula working, some overhead sort of pressing, just to sort of get that scapula moving, working on the movement, you know, all of these different, you know, protraction, retraction, elevation, depression, working these different movements, sort of getting a synovial fluid in the shoulders, in the elbows, just getting the muscles warmed up. We want to make sure we have those muscles turned on, so we're able to sort of minimize that injury risk. And another one I do actually really like doing, that I did in the previous video, again, I talked about how I want to get a slightly thinner band so I can start doing some rotator cuff work. But this one here, where you kind of press it above you, so you're kind of working the front delts, but it's more to do with you're going through this sort of motion here, and you're pulling the band apart, but you're trying to keep that tension, especially on the lowering phase, to try and hopefully engage those muscles in the shoulder to kind of make sure that that shoulder joint stays stable. Because again, we want to make sure that it stays healthy, stays strong, stays stable while being mobile, so we can reduce the risk of injury and perform better. Again, the risk goes up when you're doing sort of this power plyometric training, because you're not in a sort of slow, controlled environment. It's explosive, it's fast, and again, on the eccentric or the slowing down portion, we're trying to control ourselves. There's a lot more risk that's going on there, so to make sure that we're feeling strong, and also the form and the movement is there as well. So we'll do a little bit of leg work. So I might put my trainers on while I think of it. Some like Bulgarian split squat to lunges again, to sort of get those legs warmed up. And also, with the benefit of the unilateral work, is that we can kind of focus on making sure that our knees track over our toes, and we can have stability in that movement. But yeah, so guys, are any of you following along? Are you just watching while you're eating, whatever it is? What are you thinking of the series so far? Are you learning a lot? And how are you feeling with it all? Have any of you ever dedicated a day to just plyometric training, power training? So for any of you that are wondering why I have this in, it's for a couple of reasons. So first one is, I wanted a little bit of a change. Sometimes when you're doing traditional training, sometimes if you've been doing it for a long time, get a little bit stagnant, it gets a little bit boring. And obviously with calisthenics, there's even sort of less variety to a degree, because you've got less exercises to pick from for one. And a lot of the time, the focus is around obviously the bodyweight movements, or you progress into something like skills. So like power training or being explosive when it comes to calisthenics isn't something that's really that much of a focus within calisthenics, or some of the movements. So again, it was kind of something new, something different, something else I can try and work on. And the other thing was, obviously, it has that carryover. So when you're doing explosive training, you're kind of working those fast twitch muscle fibers, and it's another way of trying to show your strength in a different way. So it can be, I reckon it's going to have that carryover when it comes to my strength training. You know, if I'm able to just throw around my body weight when I'm doing pull-ups, you know, I'm pulling now to stomach to bar, I'm just lifting up my body weight like it's nothing. It's going to make it, I'm going to be stronger. And obviously if I can move faster, and obviously then control that eccentric and have that strength there, it's going to have carryover. So, and obviously, and it allows me to use movements I wouldn't normally use as well, which I think is quite cool. So the kettlebell swing is a great exercise. Clean and press is going to be good. Some sandbag training, it's different. It's more of an athletic approach, as opposed to just being focused on just wanting to be stronger for the sake of lifting sort of maximum weight, to just focus on hypertrophy, and you're just literally focused on trying to build muscle, just trying to get bigger, which has never been a big driver for me. It's more of a secondary, not that I'm against it, but it's never been a big driver. But this is kind of that different approach of, you get to train and feel a bit more athletic, and that can be sometimes a fun way to train. And I guess that's probably like the final reason for adding it in, is it can be a fun different way to exercise that can kind of give you another bit of a and injects an excitement when it comes to training to help with motivation, consistency. If you feel like you've got a workout coming up that's a little bit different, that you're a bit like, oh, I'm looking forward to doing that, makes you feel a slightly different way. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have done it, what you think of it, any of those things appeal to you. So I must admit, the last session of this I enjoyed, but I found quite taxing. I think it's because, especially because two of the movements were different. I think they took a little bit more out of me, if I'm honest, especially like I said, those clean and press, although I enjoyed them, they were quite hard. I did say I need to get some more of this. Before I run out, I will need some more, order some of that. So we'll start now, because I've done a little bit of movements on that sort of upper body moving, a little bit of leg exercises just to get the legs moving, just to get used to that stability, doing a one-legged work. Now we're gonna do just a few practice movements of what we're gonna be doing today. So obviously, I'm not just gonna be doing normal pull-ups. My focus here, and I can take them as singles, and if you need to in any of these workouts, sort of feel like you're taking them on as like a single exercise and a single rep, then go for it. Obviously, I'm adding all these things into a kind of circuit. If you wanted to, you could probably take these things on single exercises if you wanted to, but your session's gonna be far longer. I'm adding it into a circuit because I like the idea of it feeling a little bit more athletic. It feels a bit more like a circuit. I get more work done in a short time and can kind of get your heart rate up too. But like I said, if you're finding these exercises challenging, again, you can just think of them as doing sets of 5 today. We're just doing 5 singles. So primary thing here is we're trying to pull. It's strange because when you're doing a strength training, you are thinking about pulling, but you're really thinking about trying to pull as explosively as you can. It's kind of like a hard one to sort of think of, but I'm thinking lean back straight to the stomach. Like I said, you can reset your grip and pull. That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to pull as hard as I can. I can definitely feel my lats and my grip from Wednesday session. If you didn't see that, that one was a pretty good workout where I kind of turned the previous workout kind of on its head a little bit and basically shortened the workout to sort of half the time, less rest, exercises, compound sets of exercises back to back, same muscle group, and that felt like, so I feel like I've got a little bit of DOMS today. So it's a bit of a different feeling than what I normally am after. Can never get like that, it's just uncomfortable. I think it must be these kettlebells, because like I said, they normally say grab them in the corner and you're like that, but man, just uncomfortable. But that's the problem if you buy cheap bells. But they're surprisingly quite expensive. But the benefit of the kettlebells is you can do lots of different exercises. Kind of feel like it's a muscular workout, while also sort of you can make it cardio based with the swings into snatches and things like that. So sandbag. So those are just about being explosive, just driving them up over to the shoulder. Then we'll practice the burpee box jump and see how that feels. So with the burpee box jump is, whether it looks like that, my primary focus as I come down, I'm tight, but I'm trying to take advantage of that elastic kind of bounce at the bottom, but I'm trying to power up as fast as I can, that explosiveness in the chest, while at the same time trying to be explosive in the hip flexors and spring those legs up to get me into that squat position, ready to sort of load and jump onto the box. Don't know whether to go for a higher box today. We'll see, but that's a way in which we can progress it. Higher jump. So that felt good. I think one more rotation of the bodyweight sort of pull-ups. Like I said, definitely feeling the DOMs. So again, you think we only worked out 48 hours ago and a lot more intense workout than previous. And obviously then you think 96 hours before that, it was another session where I was doing pull-ups. So again, as I've said to you numerous times in this sort of video series, is don't just think of what we're doing volume intensity wise, just purely on a session by session. Think of it broadly as a week, and in some cases, if you're doing a lot of sessions, always think how that compounds over sort of bi-weekly to monthly. You know, there's accumulative fatigue, there's obviously this accumulative load on the muscles, and obviously then that's where we look at ways in which, you know, are we doing too much intensity? Are we doing too much volume? Do we need to taper back the volume? Do we need to taper back the intensity to maintain that current level of frequency? We're obviously doing full body resistance sessions 3 times a week. If we want to maintain that frequency and we're finding each time we come to the session, we're either not making improvements, we're tired, we're fatigued, we're not able to perform at the level that we want, we have to sometimes look at it. Obviously, it might just be something that's superficial, something that's just temporary, i.e. we've had bad sleep, bad nutrition, bad hydration, and then we look at it in that level. But if this is one of those ones where it seems to be every single workout, every single session, you're feeling tired, lethargic, you're not recovering, then we then have to look at the question of, do we maintain the three workouts a week? And if that's something we want to maintain, then we think, okay, maybe we need to scale back the volume. I recommend doing one at a time so you can see what's working. So you might go, okay, instead of doing this much volume, we'll drop it by a set or a couple sets, or we'll drop an exercise or so forth. And then you judge and see, does it sort of resolve the issue? Do you find that then you have more energy, you recover better? Cool. If not, then adjust intensity. See how that works and see if it's what's going on. If you're finding that even with those, that it doesn't seem to be working and your recovery seems to be quite hard, you're not making any progress, every time you come to a session you feel tired, then maybe you then have to look at possibly not having 3 sessions a week, maybe moving to 2, or maybe increasing sort of rest days in between. Whatever it is, that's where you go. So again, this is going to be something you're always going to have to look at when you're doing programming. We'll try this one here. So this is the one I'm probably going to be working with today. This one's got a completely different shape kettlebell. It's a lot of a thicker handle, and it seems like the rack position of it is far more comfortable. Cool. Feels good. Yeah, we'll go with that kettlebell. I said it's a drop in weight. What's that, about 8 kilos? However, I want to be explosive, I want to be powerful. If that means dropping the ego a little bit, I think, I'm dropping weight. It's more about being boom, boom. That's what we're wanting. That's why we've picked this movement. For that reason. So, are there any exercises in today's session that you enjoy, you like? What are the reasons for it? Comment down below. If you were designing a program, regardless of, say, equipment you might have access to, or maybe stuff that you've done in the gym, if you were putting together maybe a 4 or 5 exercise, power, plyometric, explosive workout, what exercises would you pick and why? I want to hear down below. And what do you think of the selection that I've got? As you can see with mine, I'm trying to think hitting the body from different angles, from sort of a muscular, I guess, aspect, but also different movements. You know, being able to pull yourself up explosively, again, you might have to do that. Being able to press something above your head, picking something up, and obviously dropping down to the floor and springing back up. These are movements that you might use in everyday life, but they're kind of different in each one. So I think that's quite cool. But let me know what you think down below. So I made the mistake of not putting this inside my watch. However, we're just going to do the free weight sort of workout just to get it logged in so I can then at least track that I've done a workout and also keep track of rest times as well. We're going to be doing the 3 minutes this time. I want to make sure that I'm fully recovered because, again, like I mentioned before, when you're doing plyometric work, it's just a little bit more risk with it because, like I said, if you're being explosive, the kind of stress it takes to, say, slow you down and control the sort of acceleration, let's say, there's higher. If I spring up on that pull-up bar and I pull up really, really high, there's more of a demand on my muscles to slow me down. Otherwise, I'm going to pull up and I'm just going to drop straight back down. And that's a lot of load that's going to be going into my joints. So my muscles have to be prepared to de-accelerate me. You know, when I'm doing that burpee box jump and I'm powering up, my hamstrings are going to have to, when I get up to this box, slow me down and have me under control. The kettlebell swing, you know, the lower back work, it's being ballistic, I'm powering through. I need to have that ability to be able to control that weight and press it above. So there's a bit more risk. So we want to make sure that we've got enough rest period. So we're not doing this exercise in like a proper fatigued state. We want to have a little bit of mental sort of energy and also physical energy. We don't want to be doing that in a fatigued state. We want to be able to concentrate on what we're doing and also have the energy to do it. So let's just crack on, shall we? Let's go. Am I doing this from the floor each rep? We'll give it a go. Tell you what, that's not nice in the grip. Doing that switch transition, quite rough on the old hand. That was hard. Oh. Oh. I need to, I'm sure you guys will pick up on it. My form on that clean and press needs to be tightened. I don't normally do it in that way. Normally it's just rack and just do your reps, drop down, and do the other side. Don't normally do it in that way, but it's a weakness. By the looks of it, something to work on. The more reps I do, the better I'll get. The form will get better. My strength will improve. It will take less out of me. Therefore, I can progress. So, yeah, something to work on. That's tough, man. I said, you combine them all into a little circuit. It's good, and I guess the other thing as well is like, I was thinking, oh, should I have taken the kettlebell swings out? Because they are a good movement, but I'm like, kettlebell swings and sort of the sandbag hip thrusts, very, very similar movement. I just want to add stuff in for the sake of adding stuff in. I want there to be a reason for it. Like, if you're watching this video, like, you know, whether I do stuff on the cuff, there'll be a reason why I've picked a certain exercise. I'm having a certain rest period. I'm working within a certain rep range. Why I'm adding in another set. Why I'm doing a certain progression. There's always a reason for doing it. Either whether it's in the plan or the plan updates while I'm in the session. There'll be a reason for it. So I was a bit like, could do it, but at the minute, this might be all right. Could I, once I get 5 sets of 5 and feel like I can push it, a way of making it progressive and maybe dropping it down to 3 sets of 5 is I then could add a kettlebell swing, but then I'd probably have to change the order. So, you know, maybe after doing the box jumps, then go into the kettlebell clean and press, because at least there's a separation between the clean and press to the kettlebell swing, or the sandbag and the kettlebell swing. There's a slight break up there, especially if I end up going a little bit heavier, because, you know, I'm able to. But yeah, felt good. That's what I mean. It's really, really like, unless you do this sort of stuff, you don't know. I say what athletic feels like. I'm not saying I'm athletic or an athlete in any way. I mean, it's more to do with like, it's just a different way of training, where normally if you're doing sort of like bodybuilding and everything's fixed and everything's rigid, it's just about pressing and trying to stay thing, to be kind of mobile and agile while doing stuff. It's a different feeling, but it's quite nice. It's different, different sort of feeling. It's quite cool. Right, second set. Again, we're always trying to look to improve from rep to rep, from set to set. So here it's like, I'm thinking, just try and pull, get that scapula back and down and press and bang, trying to be explosive. That's what I'm trying to do. Right, so here, really need to tidy up as I come back down. My kettlebell swings are pretty tight. This was pretty shit. So bit better. I've got to have a tighter arc on that swing into the rack position. That's better. That's how my forearm's killing me. Bloody rubbing raw my arms. Probably could do with a plaster on that. If you can see, a bit sore anyway, but the outer sort of bag is rough. Bit of a cut anyway. Yeah. I said this sort of, can't judge my breathing by heart rate. I did that last time. My heart rate wasn't that high. Like I said, I'm holding my breath to try and create that tightness in the core for safety. Holding my breath, and then I'm talking. But it feels good. You kind of like, it wakes you up a little bit. Like I said, you feel athletic. It's unless you do it, you might not know what I'm talking about. I don't just mean like, you know, some little running and maybe some deadlifts. I'm talking like that bouncing, explosive kind of bobbing from one to the next to the next. It's you'll get that if you're doing like obviously circuit training and stuff, but it's, most people don't do that sort of stuff anymore. It's straight sets, maybe the odd superset, but this, a few exercises one after the other, it gets you tired, but you just think, that was a 2 minute 20 set to go through all of it. Got a lot done in 2 minutes. 3 minutes rest, bang. So you're talking like each set with rest, say 5 minutes, and we're going again. We end up getting 4 sets done today. So a lot of work, a lot of productive work done in only 20 minutes, which is good. Obviously your warm up will rack that up a little bit. So it might end up being a 35-minute maybe video for you guys, but we're getting a lot done in a short period of time and we're being explosive. Again, as I'm going through the sets and through the reps, I'm thinking constantly, how do I improve the form? How do I get tighter? How do I be more explosive? So again, with the pull-up, it was just trying to squeeze everything and just think, boom, go, pull as hard as I can. There, done. The kettlebell there, it was, how do I create a cleaner arc? I was going out too far, and sometimes I was racking it before I was letting it swing up and then down. So trying to create a cleaner arc. I think I've seen one where it's like, imagine your thumb's like this and it goes through your leg and like this, and you let it come and do this. Trying to get a tighter arc to pull, bang, drive. But the more I do it, the better I'll get. It takes practice. The sandbag, I'm just thinking, try and throw this bag up as high as I possibly can. And I'm kind of feeling like it's up and then down to my shoulder, as it's just up to the shoulder. And then with here, I'm just thinking, how do I get down and up as fast as I can? Drive up as fast as I can, and then power onto that box. That's all I'm thinking, and keeping everything tight. Right, 3rd set. Again, we'll start getting more fatigued as we go on, but we're still looking to improve our form. Bang. Tight. That one was my best one. That was smooth from bottom up to rack, up to press. That one clapped down. That one went over my forearm. Start to fatigue. I have to try and keep this little cut. All right. down, bang, power. That's what we're thinking. Power. Down and up as fast as you can, while staying tight. That was hard. They don't get any easier. If it's easy, you're not going to be improving. Yeah, you imagine dropping back down to 3 sets of 5, and then right then, 32, 40 kilo, kettlebell swing, boom. You know, or, you know, grab that kettlebell, deadlift first, 5 of those, straight into 5 kettlebell swings. Bang, trying to be explosive. You might even be able to come down, bang. You know, it's hard. Oh. Yeah, it's fun. I say it's different. It's exciting. It's kind of, yeah, highly recommend it, guys. Like, don't normally do this sort of stuff. Add it in just for the fun of it. Like, sometimes training can get a little bit monotonous, especially if you don't have a goal, or sometimes you end up picking a goal that you think you should have, but you don't really know why you're picking it. Like, a lot of people are, you know, I just want to get bigger. It's like, well, how big? Have you got a weight, size goal, certain size arms? Why do you want 17-inch arms? Show me, sometimes it's like, well, a little bit of, you know, trying to break it down. You'll sometimes realise that, you know, I won't go so far as thinking we're being brainwashed, but, you know, are we being channeled? Are we just sort of just training and focusing on goals that everyone else has? That we think that's the sort of goals we should aim for? That, you know, what do you want from your training and why? It's simple. Like, for me, for instance, why am I focused on strength? Well, or performance. It's like, I like to have that ability. If I need to display it, I can do it. Like, if I need to, again, stupid scenario, but an example, something's coming and I need to pull myself up somewhere, up a fence, something like that. Let's say I'm running away. You know, I need to climb up over a fence. Can I lift my body weight and pull it up over something? Can I climb up a tree? Can I pull myself up? What happens if there's a fire or something and I'm coming home and my family are in there and I'm that sort of pathetic guy that can't even lift himself up into a window or whatever, or lift my family up or carry them out somewhere, lift up a car? Or, you know, that story about a parent will lift up a car to save their child, but shit, stuff like that. Or just something as basic as you're moving home. You know, it's demasculating to think that you're there moving and like your wife is looking at you thinking, I'll get my brother to come down and help us move. Like, don't ever want to be like that. I want to be someone that people can depend on. I can depend on myself and my ability. And if I need the strength, I can exhibit it and use it as and when needed. Obviously, when it's like this, the idea that I have to do stuff and perform, do multiple different exercises that want to be athletic and be powerful, you know, these are sort of movements, or the ability to be able to display that can have multiple different uses in everyday work, in everyday life. You know, I want to be, that's a game where I take the piss out of my mate. He'll do side raise and I was like, you're never going to do a side raise. You know, but if there's a situation where I have to, you know, pick up something and press it up over, you know, again, same situation. Let's say there is a fire, you know, and we're somewhere, we need to get up out of a window and I've got children. I can pick them up, push them out, help them get out. If there's a high window, I can then jump up and pull myself up and get out. As you know, I want to be able to have that than just being big. I mean, I used to, when you're younger, everyone kind of thinks that if you build some muscle, you look bigger, people will respect you more, maybe. You know, maybe if you're someone that was bullied and that, you might think it will stop people from picking on you. People might start taking more notice of you. If you're someone that, you know, you never used to get attention, or you're insecure or self-conscious, maybe building a little bit of muscle or improving your actual looks might help with your self-esteem, and you know, these are legitimate reasons to do it. You know, especially if you're trying to attract the opposite sex. I completely get it. And obviously I was like that when I was a little bit younger. However, now it's like, just being bigger, I can't come up with an excuse of like, you know, I'm 14 and a bit stone now. I'll go, I want to get bigger. I want to be 15 stone. Why? I just want to be bigger. But why? You know, like, there isn't a reason. If you're someone who does sport, maybe you're a rugby player, I want to get bigger. Why? Well, I'm a forward. I need to be heavy because I'm going to be rucking people. I need to, when I'm in that scrum, weight is a big factor in me being able to drive that ball forward. There's a performance aspect. There's a reason for you wanting to get bigger. And that makes sense. It's a limited reason. But like for me now, it's like, what is my drive? And I'm going to push through that. I'm not just going to just do what the sort of the status quo is. Oh, I just want to get bigger and build a bit of muscle. It's like, why? Well, I want to do this and I want to be able to do that. That's my goal. I'm not saying you guys should do the same. I'm not saying if you just want to get bigger and build muscle, there's anything wrong with that. But sometimes if you can find out the why, it can be a really, really powerful motivator for you. Like if you go, I want to get bigger. Why? Because I got this and I got this and that. It's a really powerful motivator when you're feeling unmotivated or tired, lethargic, not wanting to go. There's a drive in there, there's a why. I can't remember if it was Nietzsche. Once you know, if you know the, doesn't matter if you know the how, as long as you know the why. Something like that. If you have that, it's a really, really powerful motivator. There's a why. Right. That allowed me to have a little bit of extra rest. And what did we do last time? I had a little bit of extra rest on the last set. This is our 4th set. So we have improved from last time because we've improved the amount of volume. Should we do an extra rep? Let's make up for it. We'll go for a set of 6. Because hopefully with that extra rest, my performance should be better. I'm more fired up. And now I've got a why. I need to be able to do the more work. I've had the more rest. I've got you guys watching. I have to prove I can do better to myself and for you guys. So try. That's it. Power. 2, 3, 4. Boom. That's what we want. I'm okay doing a 6 of that. I'm really looking forward to 6 of this because that actually means it's 12. Man, that's hard. Especially with crappy form, I'm sure. Forearm. If you can see that, big and red. These ones, I'm flipping to the one side. This is starting to sting now. Obviously opened up the cut a little bit. Man, fuck. What makes those sandbags harder is my cat seems to have made that sandbag a little home. Needs a long hair. Needs a Scottish fold across British long hair. So he molts quite a bit. You might be able to see a bit of his hair a bit. I'm there flipping that bag up, and I'm getting long ass hair on my mouth. But yeah, again, a little reminder, work on your form. That's there, my form isn't good. I need to work on that, whether within a session or outside of it. Practice it. But I don't normally do that. And kettlebell swings, if you've seen the one I did before, I normally do kettlebell swings, 2 hands. So again, we'll get some extra core work in there. I need to learn and improve. That's what we're here to do. Find weaknesses and improve on them. There's no point always working on what we're good at, especially if you want to be more well-rounded. And this kind of workout is to kind of highlight that and work on that. You know, if you're just doing calisthenics, you know, your first weakness is going to be you're not dealing with any external loads. You're not used to picking up something that's other than your body. So actually adding that in is going to have a benefit. You know, the explosive nature of we're used to just hanging from a bar and just thinking, just pull and up under control. Like your mindset, what you have to do with your muscles, and the control is different from that than being explosive. We're working on something we don't normally work on, which could be a weakness. Burpees. For any of you are like me, I really struggle with burpees. Probably because I don't do them, and that's probably because they're hard. But I literally have to do 5-10 burpees, and I'm breathing. Well, that's just normal, I don't know, but I find burpees hard. Okay? Burpee box jumps. You know, people will do a burpee where they don't even do a push-up. They'll just drop down, knees in and out, they'll stand. Some will jump. Some will do a slight jump, and down, so jump. I can't fake that. I've got to go down, and I've got to be explosive, I've got to be up. Again, I'm on camera to you, I have to be accountable. I can't give you guys advice if I'm not doing it myself. Now, the accountability of me being able to make sure I do a box jump, or a proper burpee up, I've got to jump up on the box now. So I'm working on something I don't normally work on, and working on a movement I'm not particularly good at. So now I should be able to improve. So if I ever need to drop down and jump up, I'm training for that. I'm getting more efficient with that. And with time, I'll get more efficient. And once I start getting more efficient and that becomes too easy, what are we gonna do? We're gonna add a weight vest. You know, we'll see how it goes in the next couple sessions, because I'd be really intrigued this workout with a weight vest. It won't be a lot of weight. I'm thinking like 5 kilos, but it doesn't have to be. Guarantee you in this session today, I got more out of this kettlebell session dropping from a 32 to a 24 kilo. Less weight, yes. However, I was far more explosive with it. I was able to kind of add that movement each time. That's extra movement, extra range of motion, extra tension. Now I'm having to work my core more. Now I'm having to get that little bit of hip drive. I'm getting more out of that movement as opposed to up here and then just pressing, okay? I was able to make it more sort of explosive, and then I was driving up. I was getting hip drive. I was even raising up on my calves, because naturally you'll do that. We don't really want to be isolating. So if you just literally do things normally, you'll be coming up, you're using your calves, you're using your legs to spring up. So I got more out of that dropping the weight. I was working, being explosive. So again, a 5 kilo on the weight vest, more than enough. It's extra intensity. Chest, stomach to stomach, stomach to stomach, stomach to bar with 5 kilos. It's still gonna be a challenge. Burpee box jumps with a weight is gonna be really hard. So that's how we can progress it. Maybe next session might be 5 by 5, you know, or do I progress in other ways? Keep this to 3 sets of 5, make it more intense, and just push the boundaries a little bit with a weight vest. We'll see where we want to go. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it, subscribe so you don't miss another video, hit the notification so you know when I upload. Again, let me know what you think of this series at the minute. Try my best to try and shorten it down too, while trying to get in a lot of information for you as well, so you can kind of come here and try and learn as much as you possibly can. And hopefully these videos motivate and sort of inspire and even educate you into sort of being able to train yourselves, because this is something I learned when I did my PT course. So you'll get those PTs that are out there that they're literally there. They'll give you a generic program, and half the time they're there and all that are there is just to count the reps for you. And that's all they do. They don't educate you, they don't teach you the how or the why. And the reason why a lot of them do that, and I'm sure there's gonna be some of these clients that these people have that they might try and teach. And there's gonna be people out there that go, I really don't care. I'm paying you to basically make me sweat, to get me out of breath and so forth. But a lot of these PTs will not teach you anything. The reason being is once they teach you what they know, you don't need them anymore. That's really what you should do, but it's a really, really bad business model. So obviously when I used to do a bit of PTing, I would teach them everything I knew if they were interested, obviously. I know there's some people that aren't, but my job not only was to train them, but it was also to educate them, to teach them the how and the why, to get to the point where they don't need me anymore. And again, that's a terrible business model, I'm aware, but that's why I got into PTing. That's because I enjoy teaching people and people having that aha moment when they know how to do something, when they finally know how to do a form, when they learn how to critique themselves, and then they might go and teach their friends, and then they get more people being active and bettering themselves. And that's the reason why I do it. And again, that's why I like doing YouTube, is now I can reach more people. So, like I said, I know there's gonna be some people that don't care, but then there's some people out there that will judge a PT because, or they'll judge a session or how good a PT is because he gets them sweating, he gets them out of breath. You spend a little bit of time in the gym, it's not really that hard to come up with a session that will get someone out of breath, to get them sweating. So that's not what you should judge a PT by. They're not the standards on what you should go by to judge whether a PT is any good or not. You want to judge a PT by education, experience, their ability to transmit that information to you, and also their ability to actually help you progress, because that's what we want. It's very easy to go to a gym and just get hot, get sweaty, get out of breath. But can that PT take you from point A to point B and show you how they did it, why it worked, how it worked, and then where you can progress into the future? That's what you're paying them for, is that ability to be able to make you go from point A to point B, and it's measurable, it's trackable. They can teach you how you can do it. From not being able to do a pull-up and suddenly now you can do a pull-up. Their help guides you there. That's how you judge a PT. But that's my little rant there. Hopefully that will kind of give you an idea of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what motivates me to try and make these videos and to keep making these videos. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and take value from it. But guys, I'll leave it there. I'll see you sort of on Monday. There'll be another video, and that will be day 10, another strength session, and we're going to be pushing it further now. We did our 5x5 with the 20 kilos. We're now going to be upping it and going to 3 sets of 5 and pushing it even harder, guys. So make sure you tune in for that, and I'll see you guys on Monday.